So you've tried breeding Java Sparrows, right? And you've probably been met with, well, complete and utter frustration. You're definitely not alone. These birds have a serious reputation for being difficult. But what if there was a way to finally crack the code? In this explainer, we're going to break down an expert's method for turning that frustration into success. This quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? It's from a really experienced breeder, and it perfectly captures that feeling when you know you've done everything by the book, but the birds just have other plans. It's that exact feeling that makes so many people just throw in the towel. And that's the big question, isn't it? How do you get it right when so many others have failed? Well, let me tell you, it's not just about luck. It's about really understanding what these birds need and using a strategy that's built on, a ton of trial and error. So let's get right into it. We're going to pull apart an expert's method, piece by piece, and hopefully turn that unpredictability into a playbook you can actually use. All right, so what is it that makes these little birds so darn tricky? Before we can get to the solution, we've really got to dig into what the problem is in the first place. Does any of this sound painfully familiar? You see the male working his tail off, building this incredible nest, and then nothing. The female just isn't interested. Or maybe you get super excited about a full clutch of 7 eggs. You wait, and then find out every single one is infertile. Oh, and the best one? They decide to start molting right when they should be nesting. It's these kinds of things that drive people nuts. Okay, so where do we even begin? We start with the foundation. For a bird as naturally timid as the Java Sparrow, creating a secure home isn't just a nice to have. It's absolutely everything. The basics here are pretty straightforward, but you can't skip them. You absolutely need a cage that's big enough for the whole family. And remember, you could be looking at 7 chicks plus the parents. A regular budgie box will do the trick, but privacy is the secret sauce. Covering the top or a few sides of the cage makes them feel safe enough to get down to business. And trust me on this one, stick to 1 pair per cage. It just prevents a ton of drama and aggression down the line. Now here's something that even experienced keepers might miss. It's a hidden danger in the nest box itself. See, a standard box can actually trap moisture, especially if the entrance hole is small. That dampness, combined with a thin floor, can create a cold, hazardous environment that's incredibly dangerous for tiny, fragile chicks. So here's the fix. And these 3 steps are absolute game changers. First, you make that entrance hole bigger, at least 2 inches. That gets the air flowing and keeps things dry. Second, you add a nice, thick piece of wood to the floor. This is a huge deal for insulation. And third, a little pro tip, paint the inside. It makes cleaning between clutches a breeze, which is great for hygiene. And this right here, this is why it matters so much. This is a heartbreaking story from the breeder, and it just drives home how critical that insulation layer is. This is the kind of hard-won knowledge that really separates a basic setup from one that's designed for success. Okay, the house is built. Now it's time to stock the kitchen. And just like the right setup, the right diet isn't just a suggestion. It's the fuel that makes this whole engine run. Think of it like this. There's the everyday diet, and then there's the let's get ready to breed diet. The basics are always there. A good seed mix, leafy greens, you know the drill. But to really kick them into breeding condition and give them what they need to raise healthy chicks, you gotta add 2 power-ups: protein-packed egg food and super nutritious sprouted seed. And you know what's pretty amazing? Unlike a lot of other finches, Javas can raise a whole clutch without any live food at all. Now, for the building materials, you want to think coarse and natural. Give them stuff like coconut fiber and long stems of dried grass, things they can really build a solid structure with. And here's the finisher, the secret ingredient: white feathers. They use these to line the inside of the nest, making this perfect, soft little cup for the eggs. Okay, the house is perfect, the diet is on point, and you've got eggs. This is it. This is where things get really delicate. So let's walk through the timeline and the breeder's top tips for getting through this critical period. Now, this might actually go against what you've heard before. A lot of people say never disturb the nest. But our expert here recommends regular but very careful checks. And why? Well, sadly, sometimes a chick doesn't make it, and getting it out of there quickly can prevent the whole nest from getting contaminated, which could save the rest of the clutch. It's a calculated risk, but one that can really pay off. Here's another awesome practical skill for your toolkit. After a few days of incubation, you can actually check if the eggs are fertile. A fertile egg will look kind of dull and opaque white. And if you shine a bright light through it, that's called candling, it'll look solid inside. An infertile one, on the other hand, will stay yellowish, and you'll see the light pass right through. It's a great way to manage your expectations. So let's talk timeline. The parents usually get serious about incubating after the fourth egg is laid. Now look closely at that hatching window, 18 to 25 days. That is a huge range, and it's a perfect example of that unpredictable nature we talked about. After they hatch, the chicks will fledge, which means leave the nest, about a month later. And then they'll be fully independent about 2 weeks after that. We've covered the setup, the diet, and the delicate timeline. So let's wrap this all up with the breeder's playbook. A few final, absolutely critical rules that can truly make or break your success. The first number you need to burn into your brain is 12, as in 12 months. Sure, a female Java Sparrow can technically breed when she's 6 months old, but our expert says wait. Give her a full year to mature. It ensures she's strong and ready for the stress of raising a family. Patience is key here. And the second magic number is 8. A hen might lay as many as 10 eggs, but 8 seems to be the sweet spot. Why? Because if there are too many more than that, the parents can struggle to keep them all properly warm. Capping it at 8 gives every egg the best possible chance to hatch. Sometimes less really is more. Okay, let's tie this all together. Here are the big takeaways. Remember, the chicks might not all hatch on the same day, so don't panic. Be ready to move the youngsters to their own cage about 2 weeks after they leave the nest because mom and dad can get a little grumpy. And finally, work with the seasons, not against them. Aim for the milder weather in spring and autumn for your best shot at success. Look, breeding Java Sparrows is always going to be a challenge, but it is far from impossible. With these expert insights on their home, their food, and their timing, you now have a real roadmap. That unpredictable part might always be there, but now you've got the tools to navigate it and turn it into real, repeatable success.
Thanks so much for watching. By the way, I also publish a bird magazine dedicated to conservation, birding, and aviculture, everything about birds. In the magazine, you'll find in-depth articles, practical tips, and breeder experiences that go beyond what we share here on YouTube. A free standard version is available to download from my website. And if you'd like even more, the Premier version includes additional articles, free ebooks, full-page advertising in the standard edition, and many other great benefits. You'll find the links in the description below. And as always, you're welcome to reach out anytime, either in the comments or by email. See you in the next video. Now, we'd love to hear from you. If you're a bird breeder, share your breeding experiences, stories, photos, and even videos with us. Your contribution could be featured in one of our upcoming projects, helping bird lovers around the world learn and enjoy even more. Simply send us an email at admin@www.birds.co.za. We can't wait to connect with you and your birds.